everybody. How you doing? I'm here with my boy Corey Davis, Nosgoth.
Hey.
Legacy of Kain video games.
Yeah.
Everyone loves them. Even if it's outside of the genre. I know you guys got a little bit of, because people were like, there's a new Legacy of Kain game coming out. And then they saw that it wasn't a straight up HD remake of Soul Reaver. And
I would love that.
People went crazy. But for the folks who aren't familiar with it, could you just give us the sort of basic edge on what Nosgoth is?
Sure. So Nosgoth is a competitive multiplayer asymmetrical game set in the world of Legacy of Kain. So we've taken Nosgoth, without going into the lore too much, in Soul Reaver, if you played that, Raziel gets cast down into the abyss by Kain. Thousands of years later, the game happens. We're in that interim where the world isn't decided yet. It's humans and vampires battling it out. And we're trying to fill in the gaps a little bit without, stepping on the previous games or anything like that.
Sure, fair enough.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been working on this?
About 2 years.
It's Psionics. Have you worked on stuff before?
Sure. So Psionics is a independent studio in San Diego.
Okay.
And we've done a lot of. Yeah, very close. It's great.
Great Mexican food.
We love it. Great Mexican food.
Burritos don't have beans and
carne asada beans. Yeah. Carne asada and beans. Yeah. So we've done a lot of help in other games. So like we helped out on. We do a lot of Unreal Engine work. So we helped out on Gears of War. We helped out on Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. We did the multiplayer on Bulletstorm.
Oh, cool.
So lots of little helping out here and there behind the scenes. And this is our first sort of big public release with Square Enix.
Excellent. So I believe we've got some gameplay and we've got some live footage as well. If we can shoot to some of that stuff, it'd be great. I think it's one of those games you kind of need to see to get a hold on it.
So I mean, the big thing with Nosgoth is it's asymmetrical. So the humans have weapons, ranged weapons, and the vampires are entirely melee. And so it's all about how that interplay, can you stop these super strong vampires before they get to you? As a vampire, can you close that gap and kill this guy that's shooting at you with a weapon?
Cool. So we're looking at gameplay here.
Yeah.
Can you just kind of give us the skivvy on the moment-to-moment action?
Sure. So we're seeing a human perspective here. This is our new map that we're showing at E3, the Fane. It's the first vampire map. Fans of the series will notice they're fighting near a Raziel statue right now. There's a lot of throwbacks to the series that we try to put in there. This is the Prophet, our newest human class. She's sort of like a dual-wielding blood witch. She's pretty nasty. We're all about our humans aren't the good guys. They're both really, we look at them as they're both bad. The humans are bad, the vampires are bad. They're fighting over this land. And I mean, the key here is we really have an emphasis on team play. The humans need to stick together, defend each other, use their abilities. Each of our classes has a unique set of abilities like you might see in a MOBA or an MMO. And all that comes together as a sort of, work together, defend each other, or you're going to die. If you get split up, the vampires are all about picking you off one by one.
So the classes in this, are they preset? You said it's 5v5, is that correct?
It's 4v4.
4v4.
There's currently 4 classes, but there's no restrictions on who can play what.
Okay, so you could have 4 of the same.
You could have 4 of the same.
Maybe not a great idea.
We try to balance it so that's not the ideal strategy, but we don't want to put hard limits on anything.
You said you've got sort of 4 maps already. I know you guys are in beta at the moment as well.
Sure.
This is the 5th map. Are there certain maps that require you to take a specific class strategy, do you feel?
There are certain maps that have slight advantages, but we don't want to see gameplay where this map's loading, everyone play the flying vampire, right?
Gotcha, yeah.
So we definitely try to play up those advantages in different ways, but we don't want to have that landslide of a change in a certain map.
Cool. So could you tell us a little bit then about the different classes? Because we're sort of getting a who's who at the moment with this B-roll.
So this is the Sentinel. It's one of our most interesting classes. He can actually fly indefinitely. So as a human, you hear wings slapping above you, you get scared. We push the verticality a lot. Our vampires can climb every wall in every map.
Wow.
So you're constantly on your toes. You can't just watch in front and behind. You have to watch above. And the Sentinel's the epitome of that. He can actually pick humans up, carry them away from their team, and drop them to their death. But you can counter it. So if you hear those wings coming and him screech, it's time to roll or do something evasive. This is some human gameplay again. This is our alchemist. She's using a flamethrower ability.
That's a sweet piece of alchemy.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Flamethrower.
So she's a good example of what we try to do with our class design. She's not just a DPS character. You can edit your loadout for different abilities. She can actually play as a healer if she wants to, but she can't have the flamethrower at the same time.
Right. Is that true for all the classes?
Yes.
Is there a lot of differentiation?
Every class we try to allow multiple roles and play styles within the class. They're all side grades, not upgrades. We are free to play, but we're not pay to win. So everything gameplay relevant is not an advantage over whatever you start with, and you can earn everything just by playing.
Sweet. I've got a bunch of questions coming in already.
Sure.
Liam in the chat is wondering, what platforms it's coming out on?
So we're on Steam on PC right now. We don't have anything announced yet for any consoles. That said, we just added controller support, so you can play with an Xbox or PlayStation controller. So we think it's a natural fit for a console.
Do you think eventually this is a sort of thing where you'd like to see it get on some sort of console?
We think, yeah, next gen would be a really great target.
Excellent. Yeah. All right, I'm going to keep getting a couple more questions here.
Sure.
Your beta is closed, right?
It is closed right now. You can get beta keys, I believe, from you guys and in general on Twitter. We don't have a date on open beta, but we feel like we're pretty close. We're currently revamping matchmaking and parties. We want that to be rock solid before we go out to open beta.
Have you thought about early access at all? How does that conversation happen?
We're on early access right now.
Oh, you are currently? Okay.
Yeah, so there's a couple options to get in right now if you just cannot wait and can't find a beta key. But, you know, it's been invaluable for us. As Sonics, we're a big community-driven studio, so we're always on the forums, playing the game with people, watching Twitch streams. So, you know, we take people's feedback into account. The way we look at it is, you know, we release a new class. Players are going to do stuff with that character that we didn't think of within the first 5 minutes of it being out. And so we're all about community feedback and balancing.
I'm interested in what the sort of crossover between the Legacy of Kain fans and this is, because this is first of all, it's a PC game, and Legacy of Kain.
Yeah.
I believe Soul Reaver had a PC release at
Mostly
one stage,
console,
but it was predominantly a sort of a PlayStation game. Do you find that a lot of your community are folks who are invested in the lore, or are they invested in this type of gameplay more?
We've seen a pretty even split. So there's, you know, half of our players just want to kill people. They don't want to wait for a story cutscene to happen just to get in the game and start murdering people. The other half, it's been really gratifying to see these hardcore single-player Legacy of Kain fans say, you know, I've never been a multiplayer gamer, but this made me give it a chance, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that must be
it's
really
cool.
Especially after, I guess, I'm not sure how. I remember at the time there being a sort of I wouldn't say a negative reception, but perhaps an apathetic one to the announcement that, like, there might have been a new Legacy of Kain game, and then it ended up not being what a lot of people wanted. For you guys, what was that like? Did you sort of go after the Legacy of Kain IP, or was this something that was given to you as part of a publishing deal?
So we were approached, I mean, this is Square Enix's IP, right?
Yes.
They're all about Legacy of Kain. We would love to see a new single-player LOK just as much as anyone else, but ultimately we're a multiplayer studio. We're all about making the best multiplayer game we can. So, you know, when we saw that, there were two things that happened. One was we said, well, we need to get this game out, get gameplay footage out, let people see what the game is about, because that's what we're showing. The other was we actually took some of the feedback to heart immediately. We worked with Daniel Kabuko. He was a concept artist on Soul Reaver.
Oh, fantastic.
And, you know, some players said, I love the game, but the vampires don't look just like the vampires did in Soul Reaver.
Yeah, okay.
And what we basically did was work with him, made some new skins for the vampires that make you look much more like those clans did in Soul Reaver.
Okay.
We're calling them the Evolved skins, and you can earn them just by playing. So our other skins are premium. You know, that's how we monetize the game.
Yeah.
These you can actually earn just by leveling up those characters.
Excellent.
So anybody that wants to be the authentic Raziel from the old games,
Excellent. So in terms of that leveling system, is that on a character-by-character basis, or is that an individual account?
We have both. Okay. So there's an overall progress bar that lets you unlock things automatically. But each class also has a level, and that's gates like prestige stuff like skins. So ultimately we want to say, you see a hunter in this match, he has this skin, you know that guy's played a lot of hunter, he's really good.
Yeah, so you might want to keep your distance away from him.
Exactly.
So is this using Unreal Engine as well?
This is the Unreal Engine 3.
Excellent.
Yeah. We're a big Unreal Engine studio.
Sounds
we love
like
Epic.
it. Yeah, Bulletstorm, Mass Effect. I'm hearing a bunch of that.
We've got a great relationship with Epic. We're big fans.
Yeah, for sure. Bulletstorm multiplayer, by the way, was pretty great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is there ever going to be a Bulletstorm 2?
I don't know.
That'd be great.
Say. You got to talk to Epic about that.
All right. I don't know who to talk to Epic at anymore. They all seem to be off doing something else at the moment.
I would like to know what they're doing too, actually.
Yeah, for sure. A couple of weeks ago on a show, I said that Epic were probably done making games, and then they went and said that they were doing Unreal Tournament with crowdsource. So I can't, what can I say?
Cool.
So what's the future plans for you guys? You're in closed beta at the moment.
Yep.
You've got your 4 maps out there. Seems like your classes are set in stone.
So we're adding more classes.
Okay.
So some of the footage we saw was our newest human that we just rolled out, the Prophet. That was our 4th, so we're now 4 and 4. We don't feel like we're done. We definitely like to get to 5 or 6 per side at least, but probably not for open beta. That's more long-term plans. But like I said earlier, we want to add more depth to each class too. So I don't see this game ever being like every week there's a new hero.
Right.
It's more like we get to a comfortable number and then we look at how we can add depth to existing characters.
And then I guess the 4v4, is that the only mode you guys have, or are there variants at all?
So in the beta right now, there's 4v4 team deathmatch, that's the stock mode, and there's a domination-inspired mode called Siege, where the humans are capturing objectives and the vampires are doing everything they can to prevent that.
Okay.
We're looking at more modes going forward. That's one of the top priorities is, we feel like we nailed the basics, and now the next step is, what's a game mode that I can't get anywhere else? Is it I'm a vampire and I have to murder a guy and drag his body across the level to capture, stuff like that.
Cool, and I assume that you're probably talking to your community about a lot of that stuff
all the time.
How has that been in terms of getting the feedback? Like, do you get feedback on maps as well? Like,
very much so. It's mostly character classes, which is standard for these type of games. We just put out the Prophet. Within about 2 hours, there was a Prophet is OP thread. But we take that all with a grain of salt. But no, it's good. I mean, people are, especially I think because it's a beta, and if you get into Nosgoth, you seem to be a very committed type of person. We get really constructive, useful feedback, and the fans have been great.
Excellent. Yeah. So what's the next couple of months look like for you guys in terms of release? When are you opening it up to more people, and when would it be eventually released on PC?
So we don't have a release date. We feel like we're getting close to an open beta. We're just not setting a date. We're saying when it's ready.
Okay.
Because we don't want to miss anything. The real focus now is finishing this map out, so it's not available yet. We're showing it at E3, but we got to put some more finishing touches on it. And then it's just working on more content, and like I said, making sure matchmaking, parties, all that stuff is rock solid.
Awesome. Corey Davis and Psyonix, thank you so much for bringing Nosgoth on the show floor. And best of luck with your launch later this year. Well, hopefully later this year.
Hope to see you in
game. Let's get it 2014. We've got one more game. Well, I've got one more game left here up on the Samsung stage. I'm very excited about Codename Steam, which was announced by Nintendo. It's coming to 3DS. I'm going to get some sick-ass B-roll that I believe has never been shown before. But right now, we're going to check out what's going on the show floor.